Here's a fun project I've just completed, a crocheted yarn basket. I made it from 3 balls of leftover yarn, and guess what? I'm storing my single balls of leftover yarn in it. So I put together 3 threads, 3 balls of yarn, red, yellow and grey, and it's very easy to work. It is a bit challenging on your eyes because sometimes you're not sure where all the lines are going, but as I always say, it's good brain exercise. My name is Lindy and thank you for joining my channel. Welcome or welcome back. Today I want to show you how I crocheted this yarn basket. It crochets up in a couple of hours. Now I know you often hear that and then it takes months to complete, but once you use these 3 yarns I'm using, or chunky yarn, and a size 6 crochet hook, you'll be surprised how quickly the basket comes to life. I'm always looking for storage baskets, so this is great and really is easy to make. In a previous tutorial I showed you how to crochet a circle, which you can refer to and I'll link at the end. But this tutorial will show you step 1 through to the end on how to crochet a yarn basket. I've put my pattern in the description below and I've put some timers in case you want to jump ahead. Each of the 3 balls weighed 90 grams. I have crocheted a basket like this before and I find that I use about 25% of the yarn to make the base. And later on in the video I'm going to show you how I portion my yarn, so if you only have 1 ball available you'll know how to gauge how much you're going to use. There's a bit of maths involved, but don't worry, it's all in the description below. So let's begin. Here's a nice new challenge. 3 yarns, yellow, grey and red. We're making them into a yarn basket. What better way to use up your leftover yarn than to make a yarn basket? It looks a lot more complicated than it is. You've just got to be sure to hold the 3 yarn threads together at the same time. I like to begin the base, which is going to be a circular base, with a slip knot. Now we're going to make 4 chain stitches. Now we're going to go into the very first stitch, picking up all 3. We're going to make a slip stitch. There we go. So here's our center. We're going to start with 2 chain stitches to get us to the level of the stitch we're going to be using is a half double crochet, and we're going to have 8 half double crochets in the circle. Now the way this works is every row has an additional 8 half double crochets. So we're going to be going in 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, depending on how big we decide to make the circle. So we have our 2 chain stitches. Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And here we have our 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go into the first stitch and we're just going to do a slip stitch. Now you're going to see how it's going to start curling, but don't worry about that, it will come right. Just make sure you keep these 3 yarns together. Okay, so now we're going to start the second row and we're going to use this as our marker. So we begin with 2 chain stitches and we go back again into our half double crochet. Now the way to do this is We're going to go into this stitch twice. So let's go in here. Next stitch is this one. We're going to go into twice, half double crochet. Two half double crochets into each stitch. So the third stitch we're going to do 2 more half double crochets, and 2 into the next. So we can see, here is our marker, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And here we can see we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We need 2 more into this last stitch. I just need to pull some more yarn. They're lying on the floor rolling around. And the last one. So here we have our 16, and you may find it difficult, but after you've been looking at this for a while, you'll be able to work it out. Here we are at the start of the next row, and I'm going to keep this here and carry on. The next stitch we're starting on is this one here. This is very often the easiest way to count. So we can count now how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the next round. This is the first and the second. The third round, we need to do 2 into the first stitch and 1 into the next stitch. So we go around and we do 2 half double crochets into the first stitch and second one. This is really good exercise for your hands. This stitch we do 1 half double crochet, so that's 3 stitches. The next stitch, which is this one, we're going to do 2 into here, and a second one into here, and then 1. So 2 into the next stitch, one into the next stitch, And notice how I pull it up quite high to flatten the circle. Now we've done 2 into that stitch, 1, we're going to do another 2 into the next stitch. 2 half double crochets. And I need to get my thread. It goes quite quickly, so that we've just done 2 into. It's always fun to try and make something out of leftovers. Right, so let's now count this out. We can actually count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. Take this out and put in a proper marker. So I'm going to put a loop into the last stitch, which is this one. So now I know my last stitch was this one here. And here's the V at the top of the last stitch. The pattern of this circle is in the description below. What I'm doing next is I'm going to start the 4th round. There are 24 stitches on the 3rd round. I'm going to add 8, which means I need 32. So the way I'm going to do the next round is 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and the 3rd stitch will have 2 half double crochets. Again, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, and I will complete the whole circle until I have 32. We go into the next V, yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch, and that will bring us in line with the rounds. So the start of row 1, 2, 3, 4, we do 2 chain stitches, which is the first stitch for our single half double crochet. Then the next V, we go in and we do another half double crochet. The 3rd stitch we need 2 half double crochets. So 1, 2. Then the next 2 V's we'll have a single half double crochet into each. The next stitch requires 2 half double crochets. One, 2. So we have our 2 chain stitches, 1 single half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, single half double, 2 half double crochets. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue in the next few rows until I get to the size of the base I'm wanting the basket to be, and I'll meet you back there. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've just completed round 4. I'm going to move the marker again and put it at the bottom of this one, which I have just slip stitched together. So let's put it at the bottom of this stitch here. Right, so we have 32 stitches at the end of the 4th round. We're now going to move on to round 5, and at the end of round 5 we need 40 stitches. So we begin with 2 chain stitches, we need to have 40 stitches by the end of this 5th round, and the way we're going to do that is by making 3 stitches of 1 half double crochet and the 4th stitch of 2 half double crochet. So here is our first half double crochet. We'll then do 2 more, and then the 4th stitch will be a double half double crochet. So let's do that. So we have 1. We need a 2nd stitch of half double crochet, 3rd stitch of half double crochet, and then 2 half double crochets into this next stitch here. So into 4 stitches we have 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're welcome to watch or jump ahead. We need 40 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39. And we need 1 more. Into this last stitch here. Go back into that stitch, go round and slip stitch. So there we have our 40 stitches. I'm going to put the marker at the last stitch, which is this one here. So we know we need to do 1 more stitch at the marker because we're going to start the next stitch here. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. At the end of the 6th round we need 48 stitches. We now have 40, and in order to get 48 stitches we're going to need to make 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochets, single half double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets into the 5th stitch. We're going to begin round 6, and the beginning of the round means 2 chain stitches. So this is the 1st stitch of the 6th row, which is counted as 1 stitch or 1 half double crochet. So that's 1. 2, 3, 4, and then 2 half double crochets and a 2nd half double crochet into this stitch. So that is how we're now going to continue in the 6th round. 4 single half double crochets and 1 double half double crochet. Here we have just completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, round 6. And we're going to do a round 7 as well, where we're going to have 56 stitches. To do this one, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches with 1 half double crochet, and then the 6th stitch with 2 half double crochets. So from 6 stitches we're going to make 7 stitches. So I was going to use this as the base, but I'm looking now, if you were to put just these few single balls in, it wouldn't be big enough. So I'm going to need to make a couple more rounds. The rows and the pattern can be found in the description below. Just to recap, we've now done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do 2 more rounds, which will bring us to 9 rounds. At the moment we have 56 stitches. The next row we will do 6 stitches half double crochet with 2 half double crochets in the 7th row. In the final and 9th row we will do 7 stitches of half double crochet, and the 8th stitch will have 2 half double crochets, and totaling 72 stitches. So let me complete the last 2 rows and I'll meet you back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have now completed 9 rounds and we have 72 stitches in the round. The pattern's really looking nice with the grey, red and yellow. So let's continue. We've got to the end. We've made our slip stitch here. Now what we're going to do is, this is the right side. We're going to flip it over and we're going to start here. So the way we're going to do this is just to give it a nice little edge to the basket. We're going to keep this stitch here and we're going to pick up this 2nd stitch and the back stitch, making sure we pick up all the stitches. So we're going to just do to the single crochet and we're going to pick up all 72 stitches. So we can see this little loop is forming here, which is going to give us the edge at the bottom of the basket, and this is going up the sides. I just want to show you the little edge that's forming, which is rather nice. Let's just sew back these 3 threads. And there's where the new stitch starts, so we've got 2 more. So this is where the new row starts. And we're going to just go in here and we're going to do a slip stitch. There we go, last stitch, slip stitch. So let's just have a look what's happening here. Here is our basket forming. This is the right side at the bottom of the basket, and here is the inside of the basket. And we're now going to start the next stitch up the side. Now up the side we're going to do the pattern, which is going to be made up of 2 stitches. The one is called a waistcoat stitch and the other one is a single crochet. For the basket I looked at a number of stitches and I decided this stitch, which is called a waistcoat stitch, works beautifully with a basket, especially with the 3 threads, because it gives a lovely pattern to the side. And the way we're going to do that, in order to start the next row, we're going to begin by doing 1 chain stitch. To get us up in line with the next stitch. From this position, we've just finished. We actually should now, which I often forget, put our marker in here, which is at the last stitch on this row. So here's our marker, and that is the last stitch. So when we get to this marker, we need to do 1 more stitch there. So we're going to get this yarn straight. We'll just keep them together. So we hold the needle like this. We're going to go into this next stitch here, but we're going to go right down. Now let me show you where we are. This stitch has got a little bar here. We're actually going to go underneath the bar, so quite a distance below the top. We're going to go round, and when we pull up the thread, we need to pull it up in line with this stitch. And as you can see, you're getting these lovely 3 threads forming. We just take the thread, we go round the hook, and we slip them through. So it's a single crochet. The next stitch, the second part of the pattern, we're going to go in underneath this whole V pattern loop round, and we're going to do another single crochet. So that is the waistcoat and the single crochet. So again, the next stitch is this one, which we're going to go right down to the bottom, yarn over, pull it up in line with the line of the stitching, and slip them off. And then another straightforward single crochet. Next stitch, we're going to go down to the very bottom, pull that stitch right up, if you can see, yarn over and slip those stitches off. So the pattern that's forming will be better seen as we progress through the side. We've got that long stitch here, then we do another single crochet, next stitch is here right down to the bottom, pull that up, yarn over and slip it off. And you can see this is taking quite a lot of yarn, but the beauty of it is it's making this very thick, which is perfect for a basket. So next stitch, single crochet, next stitch will be this one, go down to the bottom, pull it up and slip them off. There's the space. You need to wiggle the hook a little bit to get into that space. We are now on the first row of the side of our yarn basket. I'm going to continue the first row of waistcoat and single crochet until I get back to the marker here. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't want you to feel you have to sit through all the number of rows that I'm going to make for the basket side. So what I'll do is just every now and then I'll stop in and show you how the basket sides are growing. See you then. Here we are at the end of the first row. Here is my marker, and then I'm going to remove my little measuring and I'm going to do a single in here, single crochet. So there we have that. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do a slip stitch so that I get my row straight in line. So here we've got our waistcoat, single waistcoat, and there is the end of our first row. Let's start the second row. So we start off by putting our marker in at the last stitch, which is this one here, and we're going to just continue in the second row, and where there is a waistcoat stitch we make another waistcoat and a single. So we're going to make this thread moving all the way up, short little V's and long stretch stitches. We begin this row a single crochet, and another one we need to do right here. Pull the stitch up and through. So you can see the pattern is forming. It's not as clear when you're using so many colors, but it still is giving you a very nice pattern. So into this 2 loops, single crochet, and then with the waistcoat stitch we go into the actual stitch and we pull it up high and we pull it around. So we're going to just keep going in this stitch into the top 2 stitches for the single crochet and down into this stitch for the long waistcoat stitch, which we pull up and take it off. So we're going to keep going in this stitch here for the next row, and I'll show you when we get to the end. We're at the end of the second row and you can see how the pattern is forming. You've got small little patterns here and longer strips here for the waistcoat pattern. So here we are, we're going to now do a single and then we're going to go into this waistcoat stitch to finish off the third row. So we'll do a single crochet and then we're going to go into this stitch down and pull it nicely up. Okay, and then we can actually just keep going. We don't need to slip stitch because we're just going in a round. So I'm going to leave that in there for the last of that one, and I'm going to just continue the third row with a single crochet and then a long double stitch here, just make sure you're keeping in the pattern. If you're using a single color and it's a lighter color, you're going to actually see the pattern a little clearer than this, but it's still giving me the effect that I want, and I'm really enjoying working with these 3 threads. We've completed the 5th row. You can see how the waistcoat stitch is starting to form nicely with the single crochets in between. we can now decide how high we want to make the sides. But I want to use all of my yarn, and the way I make sure that I complete the project and use up all my yarn, I'll show you how I do that. So here is the end of the 5th row, and I'm now going to measure out roughly 15, 30, 45, 60, 75 inches, and I'm going to make a loose knot in my yarn. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the 6th row, and we can do this very accurately when we have the same number of stitches and the same pattern. I'm going to keep going now and see where on my project I get to this knot. I'll then be able to know how much yarn I need for the last 2 rows, which makes up the handle and the stitch above the handle. Let me carry on now with the 6th row, and we'll see how much yarn I'm going to need for the end, and therefore how many rows I can complete for the sides. I've now done from the marker to where I get to the knot, and what I've discovered here is that with that 75 inches I was able to do a quarter of the basket, which means I need 300 inches per round. I now need to go to the end of the yarn and hold back 600 inches, which is 2 rounds at the end of the basket. We are now at the stage of the basket where we've completed the sides, and we're going to begin the handle and the last 2 rows. Now the reality is that I only have enough yarn left for 2 more rows. So I've worked that out, and if the amount of yarn is not an issue, you can keep going. But I want to do a little bit of maths with you at this stage. Here is the base of our basket. As you can see, we have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. Each row we added an additional 8 stitches. So we now have, at the end of our 9 rows, 72 stitches. The next row we went and made this little ridge with a single crochet, and we then went up the side using the waistcoat and the single crochet stitch. We on the side have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. The number of rows on the side is not important because you will still have 72 stitches. And we're going to now look at how to complete the last 2 rows. So we've got to our marker with a single crochet. We want the first stitch of the last 2 rows to begin with a waistcoat stitch. So the way we're going to do it, and here's the maths with this, you need to divide your number of stitches in half, which is 36 stitches. You then need to, in that 36 stitches, you need to make a handle, a space for each handle, which is a stitch, so that's 11. So the handle is 9 stitches and the space is 1 each, that's 11. And the whatever is left over, which in our case is 25 stitches, will be the space between the end of the one handle and the start of the next handle. So let me show you what I mean by that. We put our hook in here, and we're now going to begin immediately the handle. So we go into the waistcoat stitch, and as we've done in the past, we bring it up nice and high and we complete that. We're now going to complete 11 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chain stitches. We now need to count from the waistcoat stitch 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to go here into this waistcoat stitch to complete or to finish off the handle. So there are 11 chain stitches, 9 stitches we jumped and 1 on each. So there's 11 at the bottom and 11 at the chain stitch. We now need to complete 25 stitches using the normal pattern. We've now completed our 25. We're going to go into the next waistcoat stitch, bring it up nice and high, and we're going to complete another 11 chain stitches. And now we're going to count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and go into this waistcoat stitch, bring it up high, and there we have now completed the 2 basket handles, and we have another 25 stitches to get to this marker. This is really good exercise for your hands. Every now and then you do need to shake them out a bit. So we've just done 25. We're now going to go up the handle. Now there are a number of ways to do this. I'm just going to go in and keep one thread behind. So I just go in, taking up 2 of the back and the center yarn, and then I just do a single crochet around it, and I do 11, 1 into each stitch, giving it a nice flat edging. And with the 3 threads, it really gives it a lovely finish. And now we are at the end of the handle, and we've got this lovely little edging. As this is now the last row, I want to do something just to give it a nice edge. And I think probably the best is going to just be a single crochet, straightforward single crochet into each top stitch, just to give it a nice edging. We go around picking up each loop to give it that little edge, which is in line with the handle. We go into this first stitch, and as we did with the first handle, we just pick up 2 of the stitches So we've completed the second handle, and now all we need to do is single crochet up to the first handle. And when we get to the end here, you can see I skipped a little bit of a loop there. So I'm actually going to go into this here, and then I'm going to go in here I'm now going to do a slip stitch here so that it's not too much of a difference between the row ending, and then we're going to just weave this back. Very pleased to report I still have a little more yarn left over, so that was really good. Trim the yarn. Then I can weave this piece through like that. And then, because of so many colors and so much going on, it's not very obvious. I'm going to sew each piece separately. And finally, the red thread. Now there are other ways to do this to create less of a bump, but I think with all the colors and everything going on, this is going to work well. And here we have our basket. We can remove the little marker. there's the one handle, the other handle. And there's my yarn basket with leftover single balls of yarn. My name is Lindy and thank you for joining my channel. If you enjoyed watching how I crocheted this yarn basket for your leftover yarn, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when my next video is available. Take care and bye.